Hey friends, welcome back. Since it is February, it is Black History Month, and I would like to highlight some books by Black authors and that have Black characters in them that I love, some of my favorites over the years, and I think you should read them if you haven't already. The first one I want to talk about is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I read this book because it was banned, to be honest with you. I thought it would be interesting just based on the synopsis, but I went out and bought it specifically because I heard it was banned, and I wanted to help Angie Thomas, the author, out by spending my money on her book. And I was pleasantly not surprised, I would say, but it was a good book, and it has some heavy content in it, and that was good for me as a white person to read. But part of what I loved so much about it was the family aspect of the main character Star, her family, and how close they were. That's what I loved about it most, and I did not expect that in the book because of the heavy content and what it was about. So I didn't expect to find that too. But I definitely recommend this book no matter who you are. I think literally everybody should read this book or watch the movie. The movie is really well done and it matches the book pretty well. The next book I want to talk about is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I finished this book this week. And I was influenced to read it by another booktuber. It is a really good book. It is, honestly, it's terrifying. It's a dystopian novel, and some of the things in it they hit home really hard, especially right now. And I think you should read it because Octavia E. Butler may be somewhat of a psychic. It's creepy, but it is a really good book. It follows a young lady named Lauren, her and her family. Octavia Butler wrote this in the 90s, but it is set in 2024, and times are hard. People are struggling really badly, and stuff that we take for granted all the time, like having water and gas and bread, like from the store, like we don't have to make ourselves out of acorns. That kind of thing is really hard and expensive for them to get, so they are struggling. And it is very scary to think that maybe one day our world could be like that if we don't straighten up. I don't want to get into like the politician talk or anything, but you should go read that book. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk about was Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have read almost everything that Tiffany D. Jackson has written because she is one of my favorite authors. She does a really good thriller, mystery kind of vibe for a book, and if you were into that thing, I suggest you go out and read everything that she's written because she is amazing. But Allegedly was my first that I read by her, and I was blown away. The plot twist at the end, I was like, so definitely check out Tiffany D. Jackson. She is amazing. Allegedly, it's about a young lady. She is living in a group home and she is pregnant, and she has been accused of harming a child in the past, and everybody is like a little bit alarmed because she's pregnant now and she's gonna have her own baby. And yeah, you should read it. It's a wild ride. The next books, these books are by the same author, so I'm just going to talk about them together. 7 Days in June and A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. I read 7 Days in June twice, and I do reread a lot, but I usually wait a while in between reading and rereading. And I reread 7 Days of June like maybe a year after I read it the first time. And I'm just obsessed with that book. I love it. It's like a second chance romance, and that is, I guess, one of my favorite tropes. So I just love that. It follows an author named Eva Mercy who suffers from migraines, debilitating migraines, and she is having some writer's block. She writes a very popular book series about vampires and romance, and she's kind of like wanting to go a different direction, but she's not sure how to do that. And then she reunites with somebody from her past, and it's very intense and emotional and beautiful, and you should go read it. A Love Song for Ricky Wilde is a different vibe. It's still a romance, a Black romance, and it is very beautiful and a very amazing story, but it's a little bit different than 7 Days in June. So there's we follow Ricky Wilde, a young lady from Atlanta. She grew up in a rich family, and she's trying to like break out on her own and do her own thing. Her family owns a bunch of funeral homes, and she kind of wants to do like a different thing with her life. And she moves to Harlem, New York, and she meets some people. I don't want to get too far into it. I'm afraid I'm gonna give something away, but it is a beautiful story. You should go check it out. There are so many different Black authors I've read over the years, and so many that I still want to read. Currently, I read The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin a long time ago, and I wasn't really like into fantasy yet. So I'm going to reread that, and now that I like fantasy now. And speaking of fantasy, I forgot a book that I wanted to talk about. It's called Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. It is a story about Zélie, Zélie lives in a magical world, but there is no magic anymore because the royalty in charge took away the magic, and things ensue. I don't want to give too much away because I have a tendency to do that, but it is a beautiful fantasy story. Zélie is a wonderful female main character to fall in love with, and she's amazing. She's inspiring, and you should read it. And they are making a movie of Children of Blood and Bone right now, so you should definitely read it and then go watch the movie because it's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that movie. If you are like a diehard fan of Tomi Adeyemi, you have been waiting years and years and years for the news of the movie to come out. So anyway, as I was saying before, I'm going to reread The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin and give that another chance. I remember liking it back when I did read it, but I don't remember a lot about it. So I'm going to read it again and try to give the trilogy like a chance, because I just keep seeing that book everywhere, and I keep hearing how amazing it is, and I want to be a part of the conversation. The other book that I can't wait to read is another book that I was influenced by BookTube to look into is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. It's another second chance romance. I love second chance romances, as I mentioned before. So those two are on my TBR right now. So anyway, happy Black History Month. I hope you are out there reading Black authors, books with Black characters. If you need more recommendations than that, let me know. I will give you more. You should read. You should diversify your reading. Representation matters in reading. And that is the hill I will die on. Have a good day.